just have a look at the fundamental in the closed guard passing. This is one style of passing. It's not the only style of passing. I find this what I consider to be a conservative pass. Like I'm not moving too much, I'm not giving too much away. It's a bit of a slower pass. It's harder to stop because it's a slow, systematic pass. But like everything, it does have weaknesses in the game. There's like little chinks in the arm that'll happen as we go through. So first things first is my fingers. I want to get my thumbs facing forward. So by default, my elbows are on the inside. I don't want my fingers to be facing forward. So by default, my elbows are on the outside. Number two, I want to go below the rib cage. So what I'm trying to do is get my palms like underneath the rib cage so I have an anchor point. If I'm on the rib cage, they kind of move. We're not allowed to grab the rash guard or the gi pants or the pants. So we're kind of left to using the body mechanics. So hands, thumb facing forward. First things first is I want to do like the superhero pose. So my shoulders are rotating backwards. I don't want my shoulders forwards. So shoulders backwards from here. My right knee or your left knee slides out, back, left knee, right knee, out and back. Now I've got a space, so what I'm trying to do is drop my elbows and my hips into the space now. So I'm trying to drop my elbows and my hips. I don't have to worry about the choke at the moment because there's no gi, so it's not as susceptible to the collar choke. Because I'm looked down nice and low, it's hard for my partner to guillotine. They generally have to actually undo their legs to guillotine because I've got the pressure going forward. So now, this is the part that I see people make a mistake. So over here, what they try and do is they try and push down on their partner. What I'm trying to do is get my hips low and I'm going to try and push backwards. So I'm trying to push this way. I'm not trying to push this way. At the same time, I'm walking my legs backwards, but to put pressure onto the inside of the knees and onto the ankles. Where if I'm walking backwards and pushing down, there's no, the ankle line is still above my hips and there's no pressure on the ankles. Where if I open up and slide down, it extends the legs a bit more and makes it easier for me to pass the guard. So one of the things I see that people have issues with is when they're doing this pass, they do everything like they get to here and they're still here. And they're trying to put, this is really hard. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I close the space up. And now if I have to, back a little bit more, apply a little bit of pressure. Not opening, so if they're not opening, right, a little bit further. And because my elbow's on top of the legs, it's quite hard for my partner to shoot the triangle that I'm omoplata. I would rather have both my elbows on the inside of the legs than on the outside of the legs. So we're just going to stop here. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Just a couple of what-if scenarios that come up. So if I've got the control and my partner puts their hands to try and peel my elbows backwards, right, what I generally do for me, I'll change my pass. So I'll put the hand under, I'll switch, and I'll start to look for a different pass. I'm not going to do this pass today. This is actually quite a complex pass. It's my favourite guard pass, but we'll come through. We'll cover this a little bit later, right? So it's called the southpaw or the toe pass. I hit this quite a fair bit in tournaments. It's one of my favourite passes, so we will come back to that. So the second option is, if my partner has control of the elbows, one of the things I like to do is just one at a time. And now it doesn't matter because I'm in the position to open. So what I see people do from here is think about it this way, is just create space, so move my right knee backwards and circle and come on. So now it's harder, right? Left knee goes backwards, circle, and the legs are pretty much already open for me. So if you do get to this stage, what I don't want to do is, if you grab the elbows, is I don't want to do it while I'm forwards because my weight's traveling forwards, right? So you can control my elbows. And I'm in a better position because the legs are pretty much already open, right? So we'll just do that quickly. So as I'm starting to hold the elbows, right? So number one thing is make sure your thumbs are facing forward. 1, 2, so a little hip switch, cycle. 1, 2, hip switch, cycle. And for him to get the elbows now, he has to kind of work his core, which means that the legs become quite light, and this is good for me now to pass the guard. How'd that feel? Good. Let's just say we've got someone like Walker, thank you, that really strong legs. And I'm not going to say, not going to say that this is the case. Long legs, strong legs, short legs, strong legs. You know, the bonus for me with long legs, the space on the inside becomes open easier. Of course, their legs are longer. I'll cover that in a second. Short legs, I realise that I can put more tension onto the ankles easier. Of course, the legs are shorter. The downfall about it is that they're normally a lot more stubborn because they're a thicker leg. They're not just thicker, it's a leg, it's thicker. Yeah, okay, so. Yeah. So once again, even if Walker's on the elbow, you know, so what I want to do is one slide backwards, circle, circle, and in. So because the legs are high, the issue is that his legs are high on my back. So I'm going to make such a little change, right? I'm going to put my knee into his butt, slide backward. So what I find is with the shorter legs, if my legs are here, I find it quite hard to move because their butt follows me. Wherever I put a wedge in the middle, I find that quite easy to do. So if you're with someone that has the bony rubble legs, sorry, I find that hey?
What's the word? Bony rubble?
Flintstones?
Bony rubble, yeah.
Okay, yeah, got it, okay.
Is that Cockney language? Yeah, Barney Rubble? Trouble?
I think so. It's Barney.
Flintstones. Fred Flintstone, Barney Rubble?
Yeah.
Before our time.
No?
I know who you're talking about, yeah.
Lincoln.
A hobbit. Everyone knows what a fucking hobbit is, right?
Poor Walker.
From New Zealand, too.
There you go. Delete. Okay, so 1, 2. So of course they're short legs, they can track me easier. 1, 2, knee in. And you're going to find that's a lot easier to do. So now we'll just go off the elbow, and then we'll just do, if you want to put the knee up the butt and pass that way. 1, 2, 3. So I have been no disrespect. I'm going to shortcut this. This is a little bit of a revision from last week. If you weren't here last week, this is just where we're going to go to, which is a double underhook pass. We're going to go specifically no gi. I do change this slightly with the gi, so we'll go through the modifications. So I'm in Emma's guard. Hands on, push backwards, create space, elbows in, circle my hands to the knees, please. Of course, I want to go to the joint. I don't want to put it underneath the butt, because if we go underneath the butt, they can knees squeeze together and it's harder to lift the hips up. So what I see people do is they shoot down here, but the knee squeeze is quite hard to do. But if I shoot my hands here, I can have the ability to lift. Now, we're going to go slow motion. I'm trying to get my hands so that here, and I'll try and lift up, and I'll put my hands on the ground for now. This will raise the hips up. I know that they can do the head squeeze, the head scissors. We're going to deal with that in a second from here. The thing about it is it's quite hard for my partner to show me because I don't have the collar. That's the big deal. Right, so I'm going to turn the corner, and what I'm going to do is going to put my hand across and over. This is the part that we need to understand. And so Emma shot underneath, lifted my hips so I have no power, right? Because I try to kick out, but I have no power. What we want to do is we're going to get our partner's knee to our face. We don't want to turn the corner. So I see, because if Emma turns the corner now, she throws the corner, I've got the ability to hip escape and bring my knees back in because you're below the knee line. So we've got to get above the knee line. So from here, as Emma goes under, right, so what we want to do is drive the knee, so raise my hips and drive the knee up into the face. So you want this to be like as uncomfortable as possible on the partner, and you go to your tippy toes. So like, you know, I'm pretty much like a ball, and now we're going to start to slowly walk the corner. And now as we land, you're above the hip line. So this is very hard for me to control. As Emma's got my feet raised as well, I can't hip escape. And in fact, what you're probably going to see is they're going to try and shoulder roll over you. So they're going to try and kick their feet and shoulder roll over you. So you have to just make sure that your head's close to the ground. And that's really hard for me to shoulder roll. Once you're ready, you put your knee underneath my hamstring. You can let go now. So now you're in the position to control the guard. Some of you are not flexible, not like some of you aren't going to get to this position where your knees driven past your face. What I need from you is make sure that you're rolling over your shoulder, not rolling over your neck. You can tap if it gets too tight as well. Right, so from here, underhook, and here, so number one is hands on the ground to lift my hips up, turn the corner, and now drive. So what you want to do is, I want to move my hand just here. So you want to get your knee like to their face, and like like I'm quite uncomfortable here. So as I turn, you're going to go with it and block it out. So now, as you turn the corner, you're going to grab my legs, and now be very careful because this is the part where I'm going to try and kick out and kick over. So you've got to make sure that your head's low. Don't lift your head. Now, when you're ready, replace your hand with your knee, so your knee goes under it. You can now pull your hand out. You don't need it anymore, and now we're in a position to pass the guard. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Music.
Music.
Sorry, just like
Yeah, so
bent
stop
over
it.
right in your face.
Yeah, stop and start it again. So do you mind stopping? So otherwise it picks up. Okay. So hands on the inside, and we're going to go nice and slow. So hands on the inside, starts up the underhook pass, it goes to the position, walks backwards, and goes to the double underhook pass. So 1, 2, double underhook pass, and from here. So first thing I'm going to do from here is I'm going to clear the grips. Right. And then as Ryan brings his hand across and starts to stack me up, I'm just going to get a cross grip. I don't care how, cross grip. This is the most important part, is this. Kick my leg straight to the ceiling and kick my leg out as wide as I can. Switch over, start to look for my omoplata off the pass. Now, it's not a true omoplata because it's actually not between my legs, but it will stop the guard pass. Make sure that you're over your partner's back. One of the most common things is people are going to try and step over you. So just make sure you hold your partner. Now, for me, right, I'm simply going to go, so I'm going to take my leg away. Start to come up, look for my crucifix. So it's a really highly successful position to be in. So, like, it's the first part, that's the hardest part. And so we start the underhook pass, there's this, so think both ways. I just get a cross grip. And now what I'm doing is I'll push the elbow over and bring my knee in. This is the hardest part. Kick your knee to the ground and hold. Yep. Okay. So open and hip escape. So as you hip escape, start to sit up. Got the control. Just got nowhere to go. Disengage. Come up. And here we go. So a really nice finishing position from here. Whether I get the crucifix or not, I'm stopping the guard pass. So it's a nice little mechanic from here. Veronica. How's that feel?
Yeah, good.
So on the underhook pass. So first things first is, as they stack me up and they drive my knee to my nose, cross grip. Okay. And as I pass, push the elbow, bring my knee in. And then just wait for them. The most common thing is they try and step over you.
You can't see the walk in.
So when I'm ready, right, pull, kick, so get to the top position. As long as I'm over your hips, you can't step over me. And if they do it with gusto, just roll them over and take the sweep. Really. So double underhook pass. And as the knee comes through, just get the grip. It doesn't have to be a solid grip. It's this that's important. So what I see, if my knee's flared, I can't do it. So what I'm kind of doing is I go kick here, and most people are going to go wicked, like I can pass the guard, push that up, pull my knee, so push it down to my shin, then put my shin on the ground. Good. Disengage, come up, and we're in the top position for me. 1, 2, 3. Alright, change part. There you go. Don't make this more complicated than it is. They're going to go there anyway because they want to pass the guard. So they're going to drop my knee to my chest. All I have to do is push that loop. That's all I'm doing. But I'll lose that on the platter if I don't hold the wrist. So that's why I need the wrist control to get that on the platter. So what I kind of do is I don't force it. It's like I'm there, so I said, I'm going to go, oh man, you passed the guard, look, here, and I keep my leg high. As I come round, just push it over. But I'm not doing anything else. My hand by default should already be here, because I pushed it over. So this will help prevent the step over, because my hand's already high. For those of us that want to get the submission or attack from here, right, is take your hand under, control the waist, lock it in, and you've got like a nice, real easy attack on the stomach and shoulder, like a waist lock from here. The weight will come on top of you, but you're basically going to squeeze and apply pressure to the shoulder. It's not a high percentage finisher, and if you miss it, you're pretty much underneath and squeezing when your arms are exposed. So I don't teach that as a core submission, but it's there if you want to. So if you kind of go here, right, and dictate, so keep my legs straight now, push. Just like don't you force it, let them come around your guard and then attack as they're passing the guard. So let your partner do all the work. One more time, we'll go slow. So they're going to go knee to chest. I'm like, man. So keep my leg to the ground. As they come out, push, control, grip. Just easy now. And then if you want to, hip escape. You've got the arm bar as well. You've got so many options from here. Yeah, because the arm's isolated away from the body. But don't let them step over. The biggest thing, if they step over, they'll pass the guard, and you've got no defence from there. Let's go again, 1, 2, 3. One of the most underrated counters to the stack up is called the shoulder walk, and it's one of the ones that I believe should be taught early on in the jiu-jitsu. It's not like it's kind of one of those ones that you learn after you've been stacked up a few times, and you know, like I keep doing a triangle and arm bar, people keep stacking me up. Oh, just shoulder walk, you know, and then so what's a shoulder walk? How do I shoulder walk? So for the mechanics, it's something that I believe specifically for the younger kids and things like that, they need to be able to shoulder walk, because they're quite flexible and they don't understand the dangers of being rolled over your neck. Where, you know, as we get older, we're quite aware of that whole, you know, like, Jesus, I don't want my weight and my partner's weight over my neck. So the shoulder walk, and as I said, it's a very simple principle, but to set it up is quite difficult. So jump like up. Triangle, bop, bop, bop. Feeling pretty good.
This was like Monday.
Who did that to you?
You.
Oh, did I? So, come on. Don't be all pointy. Lift my hips up off the ground. Start walking over me. I have to, because the pressure's on my neck. Okay, so, come here. Pop. Deja vu. Straight away, this is it. Okay. Engage my core, lift up off the ground. Now, this is a hard spot. I haven't put the triangle on, by the way. This is, I'm going to walk, so shoulder walk backwards, drop my partner into the belly. Squeeze. So the show comes on. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make my core like a plank so they can't drive in anymore, because the structure's strong. My hips are low, they can bend me and pull me in. So I'm trying to engage my core and my hips. Number 2, I'm on my shoulders and I'm simply just shoulder walking backwards to create space. Once there's space, my partner will generally drop in. I know my partner can follow me, but they can't close the gap because I've got that core strength, that rigid platform between us. Okay, so again. Okay, so triangle. So I'm not putting a triangle on, just so everyone understands. Like, I actually do know how to do a triangle. So head onto the ground, hips and lower back high. So now my partner drives into me, I've got this core. Right, shoulder walk, drop my partner down, So from here, double underhook pass. As soon as I feel here, bring your feet in. Engage your core. Pass guard. Keep that distance. Right. So what we do is we have our partner just stack us up. It's your bald spot on the back of the ground. Shoulder walk. Keep that core engaged so there's a platform between you guys so they can't close the gap. Someone your own size, 1, 2, 3. So just off the shoulder walk, right? So we have the double underhook pass. My feet come in, so make sure that my feet come in, right, from here. Engage my core, come up, walk, walk, walk. If my partner wants to, I've got this ability to turn left, I've got my ability to turn right. Ideally what I want to do is I want to walk backwards to the stage where I can get the hands and bring the hands in to start to go for my shot. Because the hands are pinned, it's quite hard. Jump on there. So we'll do that this week. I'll do that in both the gi and the no gi. So we'll show how to lock their arms up so that they can't move and finish the guillotine. Okay guys, line up, 1, 2, 3. So.